a Hollywood legend faked his own death twice. Another star made her real mother work as her servant, and one of America's sweethearts tortured children behind closed doors. But here's the part that'll shock you most. When these secrets finally exploded into the open, they revealed something far more terrifying than anyone imagined. The Hollywood secret police. You think the paparazzi are bad now? Let me tell you about Eddie Mannix, MGM's legendary fixer. This guy didn't just handle publicity. He literally made inconvenient people disappear. When a star's secret threatened to surface, an army of private investigators would spring into action, bribed journalists, professional blackmailers, even mysterious accidents that silenced witnesses forever. Studios kept detailed files on every star's darkest moments, your affairs, your addictions, your real family background. Cross them, and those secrets would mysteriously appear in every newspaper in America. Louis Mayer, head of MGM, told his contracted stars exactly how it worked. I own you, your face, your body, your soul. He wasn't kidding. Stars who tried to rebel, their careers vanished overnight with a single phone call. This wasn't movie making. This was psychological warfare. And what you're about to hear proves just how far they go to protect their manufactured dreams. Marilyn Monroe, the foster child from hell. Behind Marilyn Monroe's breathless sex symbol image lurked Hollywood's most heartbreaking cover-up. Born Norma Jean, she bounced between 11 different foster families before turning 16. But here's what they buried completely. She was assaulted by at least one foster father, developed a stutter that haunted her when scared, and married a neighbor's son at 16 just to avoid going back to the system that kept failing her. That famous childlike voice, those vulnerable expressions, they weren't acting choices. They were survival mechanisms she developed as a terrified kid, desperate to seem lovable to adults who controlled whether she had food and shelter. Think about that the next time you see her in Some Like It Hot. Every breathless line was delivered by someone who'd never felt safe in her entire life. Her affairs with powerful men like JFK weren't just scandals. They were desperate attempts to find the father figure she'd never had. When she called friends at 3 a.m, sobbing about being alone, she wasn't being dramatic. The pills that killed her on August 5th, 1962, they were her only escape from the bone-deep terror of abandonment that had followed her since childhood. America's sweetheart died, convinced that everyone would eventually leave her, because in her experience, they always did. Clark Gable and Loretta Young, the 60-year lie. In 1935, Clark Gable and Loretta Young fell into bed while filming The Call of the Wild. When Young got pregnant, she pulled off a deception so elaborate, it fooled the world for 60 years. She vanished from Hollywood for months, claiming illness, secretly gave birth to a daughter, placed her in an orphanage. Then months later, she adopted this mysterious child, naming her Judy. For 6 decades, Young looked her own daughter in the eye and lied about who her father was. But here's the twisted part. Young attended Mass every single day while living this massive deception. She lectured other Hollywood stars about their immoral behavior while hiding her own illegitimate child from the man she called a close family friend. When 15-year-old Judy noticed she looked exactly like Clark Gable and asked her mother about it, Young didn't hesitate. She looked her biological daughter straight in the face and denied it. Gable knew the truth, but never acknowledged Judy once. Imagine being that little girl, staring at your real father on movie screens while your mother insisted you were imagining things. The secret held until 1994. That's when Judy, now in her 60s, finally confronted Young. Only then did her mother admit the truth she'd been hiding for nearly 3 decades. 3 people's entire lives built on a lie that lasted longer than most marriages. Rock Hudson, the fake wife auditions. Hudson was 1950s, America's ultimate masculine heartthrob. Women swooned over his rugged charm. Men wanted to be him, the perfect bachelor every girl dreamed of marrying. Every bit of that image was carefully manufactured bullshit. Hudson was gay in an era when that could land you in prison. When whispers started getting too loud in 1955, his agent did something so crazy it sounds like a movie plot. He held auditions for a fake wife. Picture this: dozens of women lining up, thinking they're trying out for movie roles. Instead, they're being interviewed as potential beard candidates for one of America's biggest stars. The agent literally had them perform loving wife scenes to see who could sell the lie best. They chose Phyllis Gates, a secretary who had no idea what she was really signing up for. The marriage lasted 3 years, just long enough to convince America that their masculine idol was straight. But Hudson's story has an incredible twist. When his AIDS diagnosis exposed the truth in 1985, he became the first major celebrity to put a human face on the disease. The announcement doubled AIDS research donations almost overnight. He left $250,000 to establish the American Foundation for AIDS Research. The man who'd hidden his authentic self for 30 years used his final months to save others living with the same secret struggles. Sometimes, courage comes from the most unexpected places. Merle Oberon. She made her mother her slave. When audiences watched Merle Oberon's exotic beauty in Wuthering Heights, they believed studio publicity about her aristocratic British background from Tasmania, Australia. Every single word was a complete fabrication. This Oscar-nominated actress was born in Bombay, India. Her mother, Constance, was just 14 when she was assaulted, probably by her own stepfather. To hide this horrific truth, young Merle was raised believing her grandmother was her mother. When Hollywood discovered her, they created an entirely fake background. They claimed she was from Tasmania specifically because a fire had destroyed all the records there. No way to verify anything. But here's where it gets absolutely sick. Oberon hired her real mother, Constance, to work as her personal maid. The woman who gave birth to her was forced to serve her in front of Hollywood's elite, pretending to be just another servant. Picture that dinner party scene. Merle Oberon, glamorous movie star, being waited on by her own mother while lying to everyone about who she really was. She hired private detectives to monitor anyone who might expose her origins, spent thousands on painful treatments to lighten her skin. Even her husband and children never knew the truth. In an era of strict racial segregation, revealing her mixed heritage would have ended her career instantly. So she chose to erase the woman who'd sacrificed everything to protect her. Rita Hayworth, tortured into American Beauty. Rita Hayworth became America's ultimate love goddess, the red-haired bombshell every man desired. But she started life as Margarita Carmen Cancino, daughter of a Spanish dancer. Studio executives saw potential, but had a problem. She looked too ethnic for 1940s American audiences. Their solution? Torture her into someone else entirely. They dyed her naturally dark hair auburn. Then came the real nightmare: electrolysis treatments to move her hairline back, making her forehead appear more American. These sessions were so agonizing that Rita would sob through every appointment. The studio publicists watched her cry and told her it was necessary to make her acceptable for stardom. They literally tortured her into conformity. But the public transformation hid an even darker secret. Rita's father had been forcing her to perform as his dance partner since age 12, touring seedy casinos and frontier towns. During those tours, he assaulted his own daughter repeatedly. While audiences swooned over the sensual confidence she displayed in Gilda, Rita privately battled crippling self-hatred. "They go to bed with Gilda and wake up with me," she once said. Think about that line. The woman who symbolized sexuality and confidence felt like a complete fraud because Hollywood had tortured away everything authentic about her. Jack Nicholson, his sister, was his mother. In 1974, Jack Nicholson got a phone call from a Time magazine reporter that shattered his entire sense of reality. The woman he'd called sister his whole life was actually his mother. The woman he'd called mother was really his grandmother. June had gotten pregnant at 17 in 1937. To avoid scandal, the family created an elaborate lie, raising Jack to believe his teenage mother was his older sister. Here's the mind-bending part. They maintained this deception so perfectly that Jack lived 37 years without suspecting anything. His mother, Ethel, was so committed to the lie that she took it to her grave. Even on her deathbed, she refused to break character, insisting that Jack's real mother was his sister. Both women died before he learned the truth. Imagine discovering that your entire identity was built on a family conspiracy that everyone around you had maintained for decades. The revelation explained so much about family dynamics he'd never understood. Why Sister June seemed so protective. Why certain conversations stopped when he entered rooms. Sometimes the people closest to us are living in completely different realities. Raymond Burr, the dead family he invented. As Perry Mason, Raymond Burr projected integrity and moral strength to millions of TV viewers. Every week, he fought for justice and truth. His entire personal life was an elaborate fiction. Burr was gay during an era when that could destroy careers and land you in prison. So he invented one of the most detailed fake backstories in Hollywood history. He claimed he'd been married to a woman named Annette Sutherland, who died tragically in a plane crash during World War II. They'd had a son who died from leukemia as a child. Neither the wife nor the child ever existed. The detail in his lies was absolutely staggering. He created fake family photos, wedding pictures with a woman who never lived, childhood snapshots of a son who was never born. He even had fake death certificates made. When reporters asked about his family, Burr would tear up discussing their deaths. He'd describe intimate details about his marriage, complete with anniversary dates and romantic stories. Behind this elaborate smokescreen, he maintained a 35-year relationship with his male partner, Robert Benavides, on their California vineyard. But here's the twist that'll blow your mind. The man who invented children he never had became a secret benefactor to real children throughout his life. He quietly supported dozens of foster kids, disabled children, and students struggling to pay for college. His fabricated dead son became, in a way, hundreds of living children whose lives he transformed. Joan Crawford, wire hangers, and child torture. Joan Crawford crafted the perfect image, Hollywood glamour personified, and devoted mother to 4 adopted children. Fan magazines showcased her disciplined family life as the ultimate example of maternal perfection. Then her daughter Christina published Mommy Dearest in 1978, 1 year after Crawford's death. The book revealed Crawford as an abusive alcoholic who subjected her children to physical beatings and psychological torture that would make horror movie villains seem tame. The wire hanger incident became symbolic, but it was just the beginning. Crawford allegedly forced Christina to eat raw meat, locked her in closets for hours. Threw her down flights of stairs. She'd wake her children at 4 a.m. for cleanliness inspections that included scrubbing bathroom floors with toothbrushes while she screamed about imperfection. One particularly sick punishment involved tying Christina to her bed and leaving her there for hours while Crawford went to premieres, smiling for cameras as the perfect mother. While Crawford's younger daughters disputed some claims, enough details were corroborated to paint a picture of systematic child abuse hidden behind one of Hollywood's most carefully curated images. Crawford spent decades perfecting her public persona as a loving, disciplined mother, while allegedly terrorizing the children she'd adopted to complete that perfect family picture. When secrets destroy everything. These weren't just celebrity gossip stories. They were human tragedies that destroyed lives, relationships, and mental health on a scale that's hard to comprehend. The statistics from Hollywood's golden age are absolutely staggering. Stars had 5 times the rate of alcoholism compared to regular people. Mental illness was epidemic. Suicide rates were through the roof. The pressure to maintain perfect facades literally killed some of the most talented performers who ever lived. Imagine living like Merle Oberon, unable to acknowledge your own mother, or Rita Hayworth, tortured into becoming someone else entirely, or Raymond Burr, creating an entire fictional family while hiding your real love. These people lived every single day, knowing that one slip, one angry ex-employee, one investigative reporter could destroy everything they'd built. Some turned to alcohol or drugs just to sleep at night. Others suffered complete mental breakdowns from the constant fear of exposure. Many died young, their bodies and minds unable to handle the stress of living lies for decades. The human cost of Hollywood's perfect illusions was measured in broken lives, destroyed relationships, and talents cut short by the weight of carrying secrets too heavy for any person to bear. The greatest performance never ended. Here's what'll really mess with your head. When you watch these classic Hollywood films today, you're witnessing something far more complex than entertainment. You're seeing actors who understood human suffering in ways most people never experience. Their pain, their secrets, their desperate need to hide their authentic selves gave them access to emotions that translated into performances of incredible depth and truth. Marilyn Monroe's vulnerability in Some Like It Hot came from real terror of abandonment. Rock Hudson's masculine confidence was perfected through years of hiding his true self. Joan Crawford's intensity on screen reflected the psychological warfare she waged in her personal life. They weren't just acting. They were channeling decades of living as someone else entirely. As these secrets have emerged over the years, they haven't diminished these stars' artistry. Instead, they've revealed the incredible strength it took to create timeless art while living lives built on lies, fear, and constant performance. The stars of Hollywood's golden age shine no less brightly for being revealed as complex, deeply flawed human beings. If anything, knowing the struggles behind the glamour makes their achievements even more remarkable. These stories remind us that our most beloved icons were beautifully, tragically human. Their films continue to captivate us not despite their personal struggles, but because those experiences gave them an understanding of human nature that most actors could never access. The next time you watch a classic Hollywood movie, remember what you've learned today. Sometimes the greatest performances happened when the camera stopped rolling, and the most talented actors were the ones who convinced the world they were someone else entirely. The show, quite literally, never ended.